She shattered your heart, walked away as if you meant absolutely nothing, and left you drowning in a flood of doubt, questioning everything. Maybe she ghosted you, swapped you out, or treated you like just another temporary option. Yet now, here she is again, trying to revive what she once tore apart. But why? What exactly makes a woman come back after causing so much pain? And more importantly, how should you respond? If you don't handle the situation the right way, you'll end up falling back into the same emotional trap. But if you approach it wisely, you can completely flip the dynamic in your favor. Let's unpack this. At first glance, it doesn't seem to make sense. If she still had any feelings left for you, why would she walk away? Why would she choose to hurt you, push you aside, or act as if you never mattered? The truth is, women don't always leave because the attraction is gone or the interest has died. Sometimes they walk away due to internal emotional conflict, something within them that pushes them to step back, even if they don't fully want to. One of the biggest reasons women walk away is emotional overwhelm. Unlike men who often compartmentalize their feelings, women tend to feel things in waves. When a relationship begins to feel emotionally intense, if she becomes uncertain about her feelings or confused about the direction things are going, her first instinct might be to pull away. That doesn't always mean she's done with you. It often means she's struggling to process her emotions, and taking distance feels like the only way she can regain control. Another major factor is the illusion of better options. With social media, constant external validation, and attention from other men, women are surrounded by influences that convince them they could do better. If she begins to believe she's missing out by staying with you, she might leave. Not because her feelings are gone, but because she's chasing the illusion of something more thrilling. Then there's the shift in power. If at any point in the relationship she sensed that she had full control, meaning she believed she could have you no matter what, she might begin to lose respect. When a woman feels she holds too much power over a man, her attraction begins to erode. Women crave the challenge. They want someone they admire, someone they respect, and someone they feel lucky to have. If you became too predictable, overly available, or started relying too much on her approval, she may have unconsciously begun to lose interest, even if she still cared on some level. Here's where things get particularly interesting. Often, when a woman leaves, it's not because she's sure she wants to be without you. It's because she wants to see what will happen. She wants to test your reaction. Will you chase her? Will you beg her to come back? Will you act as if you can't function without her? If you do, you only confirm her choice to walk away. But if you respond in the opposite way, if you stay calm, indifferent, and composed, it starts to mess with her head. She begins to question her decision. Women don't always leave due to a lack of feelings. They often leave to create emotional contrast, to test the depth of their desire for you. That's why so many of them eventually come back. But what exactly triggers that return? What shifts inside her mind that makes her suddenly reconsider her choice? Initially, she may have felt confident about walking away. She might have even convinced herself that she no longer needed you. But over time, something begins to change, something she didn't expect. The very reasons she left begin to turn against her, and before she realizes it, she finds herself being drawn back toward you. One of the most powerful triggers that pulls a woman back is the fear of losing you for good. When she first left, she likely assumed you'd still be there. She thought that whenever she decided to return, you'd welcome her back without hesitation. But then reality hits. She sees you're not chasing her, not pleading, and not idly waiting. This realization sparks panic. It shakes her sense of control. As soon as a woman senses she's lost her influence over you, she starts craving it again. Then, there's nostalgia. Time has a funny way of blurring out the negatives while spotlighting the positives. At the beginning, she may have focused on the conflicts, the monotony, or the uncertainty. But as time passes, her mind starts to replay the best parts, the way you made her feel, the laughter, the emotional highs. And with you no longer in her life, the contrast becomes even more noticeable. Suddenly, life without you isn't as satisfying as she imagined. Comparison is another major force. Many women leave because they believe they can upgrade, that someone better is waiting. But in most cases, that's not what they find. Sure, they get attention, maybe go on a few dates, but something always feels lacking. Maybe those new guys don't treat her the way you did. Maybe they don't challenge her, or they lack the connection she once had with you. The more she compares, the more she begins to miss what she walked away from. But the most powerful trigger of all? Your silence. When you completely disappear from her world, no texts, no check-ins, no emotional reactions, it creates mystery. And mystery is one of the most potent psychological forces when it comes to attraction. When a woman can't figure you out, she becomes obsessed. She starts asking herself, why hasn't he reached out? Has he moved on? Does he even care? The more questions she has, the stronger her urge becomes to get answers. Eventually, all these triggers build up, creating an emotional pull that brings her back. But this is the point where most men fail. They take her return as a signal that everything is back to normal. They fall into old patterns and repeat the same mistakes that drove her away in the first place. If you truly want to regain control, you need to know exactly what not to do. The most common mistake men make when a woman returns is forgiving too easily. The moment she reaches out, they reply immediately, pouring on attention and warmth as if nothing happened. They think this will keep her close, but all it does is prove her assumption correct, that you were just waiting for her to come back. It tells her she can leave, disrespect you, and you'll still be there when she changes her mind. The result? She loses respect. She might stay for a bit, just to confirm she still has that power. But once she feels reassured, she pulls away again. Another mistake is giving her all the answers. A woman returns because she's uncertain. She wants to see where you stand. But weak men expose everything right away. They tell her they missed her, how hard it's been, how they never stopped thinking about her. They make it too easy. The moment she has that clarity, the mystery is gone, and so is the emotional tension that brought her back. Then comes the mistake of seeking closure, asking why she left, what she was thinking, or if she was with someone else. Trying to dissect her choices only pushes her away further. The truth is, her reasons don't really matter. She may not even fully understand them herself. What truly matters is how you respond now. If you appear needy, overly emotional, or desperate for answers, she senses weakness, and that kills attraction. One of the most damaging things a man can do is act out of insecurity. Some men try to punish her by acting distant or cold, but in a reactive, obvious way. They ignore her messages, act passive-aggressive, or try to make her jealous. But it all stems from insecurity, and women can sense that instantly. Real strength isn't about pretending not to care. It's about genuinely knowing your worth and staying emotionally grounded regardless of her actions. If you truly want to handle her return correctly, you need to do what most men can't: remain composed. Let her feel that re-entering your life won't be as easy as she expected. That's what we'll explore next. When she comes back after hurting you, your reaction sets the tone for everything. If you handle it with clarity and self-respect, you can regain your power, maintain your dignity, and possibly rebuild the attraction. If you handle it poorly, she'll either leave again or stick around just long enough to use you for her emotional benefit. So, what's the right way to respond? First, don't jump to reply. When she reaches out, you'll naturally feel the urge to respond right away. But that's exactly what weak men do. Instead, take your time, not as a manipulative game, but as a reflection of your new mindset. She left, and in her absence, you've built a life that no longer centers around her. Let that be evident. A delayed response, not forced but natural, shows her you're no longer waiting around. And when you do reply, remain emotionally neutral. No anger, no excitement, just calm, collected confidence. She'll expect you to be either warm or hostile. Meeting her with cool indifference throws her off. It makes her question her place in your life. That's exactly what you want. Your tone should be polite, but distant. Don't dive into long conversations or revisit the past. Don't validate her choice to return. Simply acknowledge her presence, not roll out the red carpet. Next, you have to shift the dynamic. When a woman leaves and comes back, she expects to be in control. She thinks you'll be relieved or eager to prove yourself again. You must do the opposite. Instead of convincing her of your value, subtly make her feel she now has to prove hers. You can do this by calmly questioning her return. Say something like, Wasn't expecting to hear from you. What's on your mind? Now, she's the one explaining herself, not you. Then there's the importance of maintaining your independence. If she thinks she can slide back into your life easily, she won't value it. Women respect men who keep moving forward, who pursue new goals, build new habits, maybe even new connections. So when she asks what you've been up to, don't make it about her. Just mention things that reflect growth. It shows her your life didn't pause, it evolved. And now, if she wants back in, it's going to take effort. Lastly, set clear boundaries. Just because she's come back doesn't mean she gets to resume from where she left off. If she hurt you, she needs to sense that trust won't be instantly restored. This doesn't mean being cold, it means being firm. If she tries to play games, test your limits, or stay vague about her intentions, don't tolerate it. You can simply say, I'm not really interested in repeating the past. If you're back, I'd rather know what you're actually looking for. That forces her to be clear and places the responsibility on her. Most men respond emotionally when she returns, either with too much eagerness or bitterness. Both show weakness. The correct response is calm control, holding on to your value and making her realize that now she has something to prove. Now that you've reclaimed your power, re-established your value, and set the terms, the real question becomes, should you even take her back? This is where most men falter. They assume her return means everything is resolved. But that's not necessarily true. Her coming back doesn't automatically mean she respects you, desires you, or even regrets leaving. Sometimes a woman comes back simply because she feels lonely, her rebound failed, or she's curious if you're still an option. That's why your next step must be guided by logic, not emotion. Start by examining the reason she left in the first place. If she walked away out of boredom, a craving for excitement, or thinking she could find better, be cautious. A woman who leaves for those reasons is likely to leave again. But if she walked away due to fear, immaturity, or external pressure, and she's clearly grown since, then maybe there's a foundation to rebuild. Pay close attention to her actions, not just her words. A woman will say whatever she thinks will get her back in. She'll say she missed you, that she's changed, that she regrets her mistake. But words are meaningless without proof. Is she making real effort? Is she consistent? Or does she pull away again once she feels secure? Her long-term behavior tells you everything you need to know. And finally, evaluate how you feel around her. One of the worst mistakes men make is taking her back simply because they miss her, even when the relationship no longer brings peace. If being around her brings stress, anxiety, or fear of being hurt again, it's not worth it. A woman who truly values you will bring stability, not constant emotional chaos. And sometimes the strongest move you can make is walking away for good. Not for revenge or pride, but for self-respect. If her return is driven by selfishness, loneliness, or curiosity, not genuine growth, don't entertain it. When she realizes you're not a backup plan, but a man with standards, she'll respect you, even if she resents you. In the end, the decision comes down to one thing. Does she add value to your life, or drain it? If her presence brings clarity, peace, and consistent effort, maybe she's worth a second chance. But if she brings confusion, mixed signals, and emotional instability, she's only back to waste your time. The strongest men never let a woman's return dictate their future. They make their choices based on logic, self-respect, and the kind of life they want to create. And that's the mindset that makes you truly powerful. What are your views on this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I will personally read all of your comments. And if you seriously want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Stay strong. Until next time.